All right, so next step is marketing. We bring Jackie Turner-Loveness back to us to talk a little bit about marketing.
Knowing the industry and who your customers are is crucial when it comes to putting together a marketing plan. This is another step in the process that you really need to take your time and gather the information you need. You have a business idea that you are very excited about. Now think about it. Will your customers be just as excited? Will they be so excited that they will buy from you? You need to know that you have a market for your business product or service. Have you done any market research? An example would be conducting a survey or talking to other business owners in your area. By taking a broad look at the industry and then narrowing your focus to your specific target market will provide you with invaluable information to market your business. Having a clear understanding of your industry is very important. There are resources to help you gather that information. You need to know the history and the current state of the industry. Find out how many dollars are spent and the potential growth. Is there a continuing trend, or have there been bumps along the road? BizStats is a website that has free business statistics and financial ratios. Click on the link to start researching the information you need.
So all businesses have competition, and we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between direct competition and indirect competition. Can you explain the differences for me?
Sure. A good example to show the difference between direct and indirect is a coffee shop. Let's say that you opened a coffee shop. There's another one in town that has been there for a couple of years. They would obviously be your direct competition. There are also 2 gas stations in town that have C-stores in them. Would you consider them to be your competition? Your first thought may be no, but think about that. Do they sell coffee and muffins? If the answer is yes, then they are your indirect competition for the same customers. Now your job is to try and capture those customers that may be going there for products similar to yours.
We're going to talk now a little bit about target market and primary and secondary target markets. I know it's important, but I still don't understand the differences between those as well.
Your primary target market is the customer who will be directly buying your product or service. That is who you want to heavily market to. Let me share an example. Let's say you are selling an educational toy. Your target market is going to be the customers who have children, the parents. Primarily, the mothers will be making those purchases. Your secondary market would be grandparents, relatives, friends, and even teachers. Though they are secondary, you definitely want to make sure that they are included in your marketing plan. Have you heard the word demographics? Demographics is the age, gender, occupation, lifestyle, and income of a specific population group. Once you determine your target market, you want to know the demographics of that group to help you determine how to market to them and also their purchasing patterns. Don't forget to take into account the seasonality of a business. Will a majority of your sales be just a couple of months a year? Will you only be open a few months a year? Also, how frequent will your product be purchased and in what quantities? By having this information, you will be able to make informed decisions when creating your marketing plan and your cash flow analysis.
Thanks, Jackie. You've done a great job of explaining that as well. So where do we go from here? What's our next step?
Next, you carefully identify the communication tools that you will want to use to reach your target market. Ask yourself, does your target market read the newspaper or listen to the radio? Can you effectively reach them by distributing flyers and your business cards? What about having a website and utilizing social media like Facebook and Twitter? What do they read, watch, listen to, or use? Once you have a clear understanding of whom your target market is and how to effectively reach them, you can begin putting together a marketing plan.
So once you've identified that target market, how do you reach them? How do you communicate your message, your idea, your product to them?
I have a great example. Let's say that you are selling name brand clothing geared towards teens and young adults. Which marketing tools do you think would effectively reach them? A local shopper, a website, the newspaper, radio, Facebook, Twitter, flyers? If you said a website, Facebook, or Twitter, and the radio, then you are on the right track.
Well, that seems pretty straightforward. What else should we be thinking about? What's our next steps?
Well, while you are building your marketing plan, you need to keep in mind how your product or service will be distributed. your business image, and your budget for accomplishing all that you are setting out to do.
Okay, so as we wrap up the business concept statement section, Jackie, it seems to me that you've mentioned that this is going to be an evolving process and that it's going to change. So for those people that are really not that flexible and are not used to letting those sort of things lay, any special ideas that you can give us to help us, embrace that, but yet still keep us moving forward?
The best advice that I can give is stay flexible. Your business plan and your business concept statement, they are not written in stone, and you want them to change as your project evolves.
Okay, so we talked about business concept statement, we've talked about marketing. How do our pricing strategies fit into all of this?
Pricing your product or service correctly is extremely important. You don't want to price yourself out of the market, but at the same time, you don't want to be giving everything away. At this point, you probably have not even thought about pricing your product or service. When you begin working through your financial cash flow in a later segment, you will begin to understand the strategies involved. This is something that you need to take your time with. Again, looking at the industry standards will be very important.
So we use the term break even a lot, and especially when it comes to building your cash flow and pricing and really at the heart of your business plan. Can you tell us how to explain that a little bit?
Sure. You break even when your sales cover the operational expenses of operating your business without having a shortfall. You also need to be aware of your profit margin, which is the ratio of gross profits divided by net sales. Don't worry, this will make more sense to you later in the financial segment of this class. Is your business going to be seasonal or operating 12 months a year? If your business is seasonal or has above average seasonal sales, you take that into consideration in your cash flow projections. And payment terms is a big consideration too. Will your business be cash only? Will you take credit cards or offer other payment terms? I know this is a lot of information to take in, but it's something that you need to be thinking about in the beginning. During the financial segment, you will learn how to apply these strategies.
Thanks, Jackie. There are obviously a lot of expenses that go into running a business. Are you talking about things like rent and having employees and all those other things?
Those are just a few of the costs that you're going to have in operating your business. You will have two different types of costs, variable and fixed.
So variable and fixed. What are the differences between the two?
A variable cost will be your inventory, shipping, labor, possibly commissions. Your sales will determine your variable costs. For example, if you were selling a product, the more product you sell, the more inventory you buy to replace what you sold. Make sense? Your fixed costs will consist of your rent, telephone, utilities. These costs will remain consistent whether you have any sales or not.
So it sounds like there's a lot of homework that still needs to be done. How do you begin putting all this together?
I know it sounds like there is a lot of work, but if starting your own business is a passion that you will be pursuing, then it won't seem like work at all. Just remember to take your time, gather the information you need to begin your journey for success.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Jackie. I appreciate it. You made this a lot easier for me, and hopefully for all those that have joined us today, they're taking that information to heart and being able to move forward as well.